YouTube, 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 YouTube. How angry at you I am, YouTube. How angry at you I am. And guess what? Is it any surprise that now that the camera's working, I've got nothing in chat? Unless nobody's saying anything yet. Can I get a Hubie Halloween? Can I get a Hubie Halloween? Okay, there we go. Hubie Halloween. What happened is YouTube is a POS. I'm telling you, I know I sound like a broken record, but like, think about this. I do this every week. What are the odds that I'm just that dumb of a person that I mess it up? Yet I do it every week, right? So odds are I'm not effing it up every week. It's YouTube. Some weeks it recognizes the camera, some weeks it doesn't. Some weeks it gives me the option to take a thumbnail. Some weeks it doesn't. Yeah, Arcadis, I was going to say at the top, thank you for this. They sent me a cane at my new P.O. box, and I just knew. You asked me, like, do you want to pick? And I just said, pick for me. And I knew it would be the right one. And let me tell you, is it ever? The nice thing is, I'll use this in the movie because there's the nightmare sequence where Onyx is dressed like a vampire and running through the halls of the mansion, shattering mirrors with his cane. And this will be the perfect cane for that. So thank you so much. Wow, Sal, this is the first time you've caught me live since the Kickstarter. We've been doing it on the reg. We've been doing it weekly. You know, surprise, surprise. Can I announce the cast? I cannot. I want to get that just right out of the way. Yeah, save a little money on the prop budget, Geo. We got the cane. We got the cane. We're good. Do I dye my beard? Wild. No. I know, but Arcadis, this one won't break as easily because it's not a costume one that's made of plastic. The one that I broke during the Kickstarter was made of plastic. It was like a straight up costume cane. I still feel like this is too bright. You know what I mean? Ooh, Darren, that sounds good. A little whiskey and Coke. Ooh, that sounds good. I might have some sake tonight because I might have some pho with my friends. Ooh, but a whiskey and Coke. Not bad. I'm going to turn this light down a little bit. It's also days when I haven't shot an Onyx TikTok. I'm not in makeup. And what is going on, Holly Weird? What are we doing? What is it? What are you itching on? This isn't the place for weird spam messages. This is like a really intimate hangout with people that have been talking to each other for months. So anyway, let me turn this light down. Huberinos. I don't know if that made it any better. Oh, you watched them after. Gotcha, Sal. Gotcha. So what are the chances for getting Bruce Campbell for Bartok? I don't know. I think they are, well, I'd say they're better than getting an actor I've never worked with before. You know, I've directed Bruce twice. If anybody hasn't seen the videos, if you search on YouTube, the dangers of having a chainsaw for a hand, it's a Funny or Die video that I directed. You can also search on YouTube, Bruce Campbell, The Roles That Got Away. Hunter, good question. I put a poll up in the private Facebook group that said, who would you rather see Bartok played by, Bruce Campbell or Mark Hamill? And the votes are overwhelmingly for Bruce. You can go to your bed, bud. Sorry, Grammy Boy's like, he wants to go to his bed, but he's annoyed that I'm already on the stream. But he's just like hanging back here. But like, bud, you can go. Just stop being creepy. Go walk over to your bed. You always sit back there for the stream. Just go back there and sit for the stream. So let me look up where the numbers are right now on our poll. So here's the reason why I asked that question. Right now, we have 242 votes for Bruce Campbell, 150 for Mark Hamill. So it's almost 100 more for Bruce. But let's talk about how hard it would be to get Bruce. I have directed him twice. He liked me. You know, before working with him, somebody said, get ready for for a presence. Get ready for, someone's going to call the shots. Bruce has been around forever. And I had a production call with him prior to the Funny or Die video, and he was great. He just doesn't suffer fools, but nor should he, He needed to know I had a plan. He wanted to know when we were shooting the stuff with the fake blood, how we were going to clean him up, what kind of fake blood we were using, how much time we were going to spend on each setup. Every question he had should be no problem for someone who's prepared. Luckily, I was prepared. I had an answer for every question he asked. And at the end of the call, he said, okay, sounds like you got your shit together. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And he was great on the day, He was great. Even asked me for a line reading at one point. Hey, how do you want me to say this? Which, if people don't know, you're not supposed to give actors line readings. But as an actor myself, I like them. And I've also worked with plenty of actors that have said, just give me a line reading. Because sometimes it's written with a specific cadence in mind. We're talking about Bruce Campbell when I directed him for a Funny or Die video a couple years ago. Because we're talking about whether or not Bruce would possibly say yes to playing Bartok. And so you got a little leg up because we can say to his agent, this is a director Bruce has worked with before. Now, Bruce may not remember me specifically, but I guarantee he remembers the day or the project, and he will remember things going smoothly. You know what I mean? He'll remember that it went off without a hitch, that he got out of there on time, and that there were minimal to no snafus. He'll remember that. So I think if his agent was like, it's the guy that directed you in that Funny or Die video for Ash versus Evil Dead season 2, Bruce would be like, oh, yeah, okay. That guy was fine. He was cool. Yeah, he's a cool dude. And then I directed him in a Nerdist sketch prior to that, but I think that he wouldn't remember because he was in and out. He did like 30 minutes for us. Yeah, Bobby. So very good question. Yeah, that is how you can kind of sweeten the deal for certain actors. You can say, there we go. We missed him getting into his bed, but he's in the bed. That was like a magic trick. I blocked it, and then he's there. Because he doesn't want to, he loves his little scratching post bed. And he doesn't want to sit through this whole live stream down there in the corner. So, so you can make them a producer, you can give them back end points, yeah, etc. And that, I think that is something you do for Bruce. A big question is, a lot of times you can get an actor for a relatively manageable rate if it's not the genre they normally work in. Like, I bet you could cast Robert Englund in a comedy or a drama and pay a fraction of the cost that it would take to get them in a horror. I think Robert Englund's rate for being in a horror film would be a lot higher. So that's the only thing. Bruce may say, hey, I'd love to do it. What rate can you offer? And then we tell him the rate, and he says, to be in a horror comedy, which, like, arguably, he knows he's a pioneer of that world, especially for my generation. And we got to recognize that. I want to give you guys the Grammy Boy view. We got to recognize that. And it's true he inspired this film. there's no me as a horror comedy fan without firstly Army of Darkness, because I saw Army of Darkness before I saw any of the others. And then I watched Evil Dead on a trip. I was shooting an independent film as a little kid actor, and we were at a cabin in Maine, and all the adult actors wanted to watch it. Yeah, Bobby, Lodge 49, he did a couple episodes of that. People liked him a lot. Grammy Boy's chilling, Anthony, as you can see. Sam, yes, the Arby's thing was a skit. So I watched Evil Dead on this trip to Maine when I was filming an independent film as a child. Oh, I got a funny story about that. It actually, I tell you, it's so interesting how everything builds together. So I did an independent film as a kid. And oh, Sly Rye, that's a good question. Hold on. Let me get this little story out, and then I'll answer that question. So I did an independent film as a kid. And I learned the lesson very quickly that just because you imagine everything going well, it doesn't mean everything's going to go well, especially from a director's perspective. I was a little kid. I was maybe 11 or 12 on the set of this independent film. And we had to do a scene where I get upset and I'm working at my mother's restaurant, and I push all the ketchup bottles off of the table because I was marrying the bottles. You know what marrying the bottles means? If you've ever worked at a restaurant, at the end of the day, you know, if two bottles are half empty, you put one into another, so you got one full bottle, because that always looks better sitting out on the table than a half full bottle. So anyway, my character was marrying these bottles, and then he gets into a fight with his mom, and she slaps him, and then in response, he knocks all the bottles off. So the director and, you know, I guess the prop master or whoever they had on set, they might not have even had a prop master on this. It was a collection of real ketchup bottles and breakaway ketchup bottles. I don't know why they did that. I think the front half of the bottles were breakaway, but the back half were real glass. What wound up happening is I get slapped by the woman playing my mother, who's a great actress. She was in a lot of things, but I knew her from Edward Scissorhands. She played one of the nosy neighbors. I will say she slapped the fuck out of me. I mean, I remember talking with her, and she was like, so, you know, it always looks a little better if we just do it, you know? And I was like, yeah. And I'm 11, and she used my hand as an example. She was like, it's going to be like this. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And when we rolled, it was a lot harder than she fucking slapped the shit out of me, dude. It worked for the scene because in response, I fucking knock all these bottles off, right? Anyway, the director yells cut, and people come over to clean the ketchup off of me, right? And they're wiping the ketchup off with baby wipes, and it comes off of this hand and this arm, and everyone's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. And then they wipe right here, and the ketchup goes away, but then red kind of re-spills out onto my skin. And they're like, that's weird. We just wiped the ketchup away. They go like this, and then red liquid formed on the top of my skin again. Then they realized I had a cut right on my wrist, dude. And they panicked. And they said, oh my God. Oh, you're cut. Oh, that's blood. You're bleeding. Oh, you're bleeding. And I was like, okay. I remember not panicking, but it was a little freaky to see how quickly blood was coming out. I still have a scar, but I also have a tattoo there, so it's hard to see. You can really only see it in certain lights, but I have this little scar right here. I went back into the back room of the restaurant, and she showed the director, and his face went white. And in that moment, I was like, yeah, accidents happen. You know, just because it's your dream and it's a indie film, and you think if everybody pulls themselves up by the bootstraps, it'll all get done the right way. Accidents happen. And I remember him thinking, oh my God, you know, am I going to get in trouble? And we didn't talk to anyone. We didn't talk to the union. I was okay. We had a first aid kit. I don't even think we had a medic on set, but they cleaned me up and it healed just fine. It was fine. I didn't need stitches or anything. All that to say, it was on that shoot that I first watched Evil Dead, and then a few years later watched Evil Dead 2. And I mean, I've probably written down Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness in my notes for the Onyx movie 100 times. So you got to give a guy like Bruce Campbell the respect. And if you're asking him to step into that genre space, yeah, you got to make sure it's a proper welcome and that it's a respectful invitation. Nate, I don't know if you want to look up that scene because the movie was pretty bad. And I don't know. I don't like revisiting old stuff, but Danzig, I was never looking to Danzig. We need a real actor, you know? We need a real. I'm not, no offense to Danzig, but some people have brought up, could a musician play Bartok? It's more than a cameo, though. It's 2 weeks of filming and it's heavy lifting. The scenes are long, they're dialogue heavy. So you're not just going to get someone down to show up and do a cameo. It's a fair amount. It's a fair amount. You need Bruce. You need Bruce. I'm. Yeah. I was gonna explain. I guess like. Hold on. Sorry, I'm getting a text about our schedule and our budget. Hold on one second. We're doing illustrations for the for the interior of the Grand Grimoire, and I'm just like reviewing them. This is like a super quick. It says the lichen. That's not. It's rough, but anyway, I'm reviewing these and giving notes and like choosing, like the text, like what kind of text should go in the Grand Grimoire. Um, oh, so some people have brought up a musician cameo as Bartok, but I think we need an actor. The question is, this is what I was going to continue to say, but I stopped myself. But I think it's okay to discuss. Is like, there's two vibes, right? Like, if you think about Bruce is so likable. He's so likable. But that kind of works for Bartok because he was able to charm people for years and get them to follow him. But Bruce is almost like a fun uncle. But I bet you he can get mean, you know? It kind of excites me, the idea of like, Bruce, go full villain. Go full evil Ash. Because I know he can be like he's played Max. So you're saying Bruce's vibe is smarmy. Yeah, but I wonder if that works for Bartok. Like there's a line towards the end where Bartok says to Onyx, "You're not the fortuitous one. You're just a patty slinger. You're a little fat too." And think about Bruce delivering that. That's a good. I mean, But then there's the other side. Do you go with like a Shakespearean trained actor? Like if you think about the actor from Warlock, Julian Sands, is it funnier for Onyx to go up against a brooding, dark Shakespearean Bartok who can't believe there's this patty slinger in front of him? Different vibes, right? Well, Hamill, yeah. I mean, if we get that would be amazing. But Hamill, I don't know. The heavens are going to have to open up for us to get Hamill. The vibe is that you're not going to get to him with a film of this size just by going through his agency. It's just too small of a project. You'd need a personal connection to get to the ham dog. Man, I have a headache today, something fierce. And I know we've talked about that on the live streams. When I've had a headache, I'm like way low energy. I think Lance Henriksen might be a little too old for the role. Plus, Bruce is a big Michigander, and so is Onyx, technically. Oh, yeah, Sly Ride. No. I wanted you to ask the question again. A good comparison to Bartok. Let me think. I mean, yeah, there's got to be somebody. In a way, like Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night, but like just a big theatrical Shakespearean, kind of the way Richard E. Grant is in a lot of things. Regal, condescending. Ah! I probably shouldn't say who we're out to and who we're not out to right now. But everybody that I'm talking about is somebody that we're talking about going out to in some capacity. You know what I mean? I hate to be so vague. Man, I tell you, I would love to just spill all the beans, but I have to keep it on the rails and keep it professional. But these are all names that we are talking about internally. Me and the casting director and my producer. Max von Sydow and Strange Brew. You are spot on. Max von Sydow and Strange Brew. Spot on. Yeah, spot on. Spat. David Dalsmalchian. Yeah, totally. You'd have to say that Bartok's younger, but I had a plan for that. I had a plan that you would just say he was eternal, that he had taken, that he had found immortality, and that he was frozen at the age of 40 or 45, you know. So you could do a younger Bartok for sure, especially if it was a guy like that, like David Dasmalchian, however you pronounce his last name correctly. Or even like a Domhnall Gleeson. Well, Clint Howard's more of like an Onyx's dad type. That's the only thing. By the way, are the fans too loud? You know, I've got fans down here, but it's because it gets a little roasty in the garage. So let's see. I've got some other Creature Kit updates I can show that have me absolutely bonk ners. Bonk nanarinos. Bonk nanarinos. All right. Yeah, bonk. Bonk, bonk. Bonk, 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 bonk. Nanarinos. Sorry, I'm reviewing these images. Bonk, bonk. Nanarinos. Nanarinos. Is there any version of the script available to read? There isn't. The only thing that existed was the live read that we did that had to go private because we could only keep it up for until the Kickstarter ended. Man, my headache. Ralph Ineson. I want to try to get Ralph Ineson to voice the demon Abaddon. Yeah, Peter Weller though. Yeah, plus Arcadis, if I'm saying that right. The read through was the Fat Daddy draft. 130-page script, I think. And it's down to 100 now. But I'm telling you, it's a lean, mean comedy horror machine. I really like the 100-page draft because it also makes the whole thing better, easier to swallow. I've had people read the Fat Daddy that said, loved the script, but it's a slog for this genre. And I'm like, whoa, well, which is it? You love the script or it's a slog? But the shorter the better, I think. Just get in, get out. I can't say what cast we have. Yeah, get the script down to fighting weight. A rough runtime. Well, you could estimate an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, because it's supposed to be a page of script is a minute of screen time. Look at that! I almost blocked Grammy Boy. Who am I? Yeah, and there's nothing structurally different. It is still the same movie. We just took out a couple of scenes, shortened a couple of scenes, got it all schmoovy. Got it all schmoovy and tightened it up. Oh, well, that's good, Matt. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, we all got one go at this life, and you might as well, if you can pursue your dreams in a way that doesn't derail the rest of your life and your personal life and even just your livelihood or your well-being, then you should, you know. I've kind of lucked out in the sense that I've painted myself into a corner. I don't have many options outside of pursuing my dream, just because naturally that's what's happened over the years. But I guess I could unplug from the filmmaking side of it and just pursue like the digital producer, that kind of stuff. I guess then in a way that would be me unplugging from the dream. So yeah, but you got to keep making choices to plug through. Arcadis or Arcadis, could I put the read through on a special features on the DVD? I don't think so. I would need releases from all of those actors, which could be difficult. I also don't know if I want that out and about. It was such a fat daddy draft. I get it why directors are like, the version you saw was the director's cut, because ultimately by the end of the movie, I was happy with that version. That's how I feel. Like that fat daddy draft does not represent my vision. It's just longer. Editing is a part of my vision, but it was a beautiful thing. I agree. Sorry, I got to look at these little text bad boys. Well, this is actually something I could do on the streams. On the stream, I got to take a picture for the person doing the illustrations that are within the grimoire, and I specifically want, it's going to be unflattering, but I want. So when they're looking through the grimoire, they find that they're each something called out in the grimoire. One's a Viking, one's a Lycan, one's a queen, and Onyx finds out he's the virgin. And in the grimoire are all these illustrations from these ancient characters, but the virgin looks like Onyx. So I'm going to take a picture for the person doing the drawings to base it on. In fact, I even have a robe I could put on. The character's in a robe. We might be able to go all out for this. Granted, the robe that I have is a Scream robe, but that's okay. I tell you what, that live read, what a good night that was, because I think we raised 10 grand that night. I can think about those days when we would hit our daily goal and it feels like I'm bathing in butter. Those days were so good. And then there'd be a day where we didn't hit the daily goal and I was spiraling at night. But those days sitting on that live stream, I don't think I had anything to drink until we wrapped. But once we wrapped the live stream and I looked at the total and it had gone up by 10, it might have even gone up by 12 grand. I had a beer. I had a Brother Thelonious. You better believe I had a Brother Thelonious. Oh, that's great, Beans. Yeah, that dopamine hit of I used to have my chart right up there that said, our goal. And it's so weird to like, I forget about the Kickstarter sometimes because I'm so deep in production that I like forget that experience. That was such a huge experience. And now I'm in this like other experience where we're trying to dial in all the details for the shoot. Somebody asked if we're still aiming for October. Yeah, currently that's still the plan. You know, the losing our actor for Bartok, I think, was the closest thing to push us toward not shooting in October, but we're looking to get a new Bartok. And I think if we get interest from a new actor next week, we did some soft peeking around this week. Are you available? Okay. Are you available? Okay. Are you available? You know, real soft peek arounds. Next week, we're going to be a little more formal with our approach toward these other actors. And if we find someone that rips and they're like, guess what? I'm free in those dates in October, then I think we'll really lock in and chug along. The live read is how I convinced my wife to raise our tier. Oh, that's awesome. I blasted Concrete Blonde like the end to pump up the volume. Yeah. It was a wholly good experience. It was such a good, I mean, I was stressed and it was 45 days. I still have calendars up that have those days marked, like halfway point, 90K. I mean, I looked at that and saw 90K week 1, at the end of week 2 or something. And I was like, I remember staring at that 90K and being like, well, we just had so much more to raise. I could talk about the Kickstarter all day. I think I'm finally far enough past it where I can talk about it and it not like give me anxiety, because it really gave me anxiety for a while. And then that last 24-hour stream, sitting down here watching Spookies with the balloons and the confetti. Let's see if we can find a robe so I can take this picture. Just be passive aggressive, ring up the actor. I'll make a movie, you know. Would be pretty cool if you're in it. I mean, if not, that's cool, but you know. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, everything's got to be a little more official than that. The way it works is the casting director asks for avails. You know, they just say, is so and so available? If they're available, then you send them the script and at least kind of like the rate, the expected rate. And if they're interested, you got to make an offer. You can't be like, oh, thanks for reading that script. You like it? You're interested? Fuck you. You got to be like, okay, well, here's the offer. It's all done in good faith that you're asking for their time to review the material because an offer is forthcoming. You know, so you can't it's not as simple as asking multiple people at the same time, you know, what they think, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's see about where this robe is. Oh, here's what is that? Oh my gosh. Oh man, it. I mean, am I wrong? I'm pretty sure I have a robe. Oh man. I mean, I know I do. Maybe I packed it up. I've got a cape. Maybe the cape would work. Ah, man, I know I've got a Scream robe. Grammy boy, where did I put my Scream robe, dude? Grammy boy, where did we put the Scream robe? You don't know? You're too busy chilling? I might have balled it up, you know? I might have just balled it up and put it away. All right, well, shoot, man. I've got a bunch of angel wings and demon wings. Does that help? No? That's not what you needed? Crazy. I thought that's what you'd need. Well, why don't we try it with this? This is a cape, not a robe. Sorry, Grammy boy. See, this is from the Scream robe. Okay. This can still kind of like, no, that's going to be confusing. I'm trying to like turn this into a robe. Well, kind of, maybe. So in the book, they see a drawing of the Virgin, and it needs to be like an embarrassing drawing. And I want Onyx's belly sticking out. Spoiler alert, that's not going to be that hard. Dang it. There's no way to make this into like... I kind of want him to be like... You know what I mean? This is almost... If I cut holes in it, I could just turn it into a robe. You know what? I'm going to do that. Who cares, right? It's my fucking robe. Let's do it. Like right here. Turn it backwards? What are you saying? Now I can wear it like a robe, right? Is that how that works? Kind of. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to chat as much because I'm trying to figure this out. But don't worry. We'll get this figured out and it'll be the best thing ever. Yeah. Close enough. What I really need to do is pin this up here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's try this. Photo mode. Okay. Oh, man, I just wish this would stay closed. Sorry, Grimmy. I wish that would stay closed. It's like it needs to be the most awkward pose ever. All right, let's try it. Actually, I'm going to do this video. Hey, Leah. So imagine that this was a robe and not a cape that I cut into having armholes. But it's almost like 3/4 and a real dumb pose, like that. Hands out, belly. Huh? It's like that. Maybe legs out. Huh? And definitely a belly. And then like a rope belt, like a monk. Or like what's the guy in Robin Hood? Little John, you know? But he's like, huh? Belly. Okay. All right. Son Goku. Yeah. So then we send that to the person doing the illustrations for the inside of the grimoire. Friar Tuck. What did I say? Little John? Friar Tuck. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Worm was great and original. I appreciate it. Um, will the video send? Will it send? Yeah, actually, let me bring up a picture of Friar Tuck. Who is Little John? Little John was just the bear, wasn't he? Oh, yeah, Friar Tuck. Yeah, Friar Tuck's where it's at. That's what we were talking about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Little John was his buddy. Friar Tuck is what I meant. All right, sent. Nate knows this, but my favorite part of the process is reviewing art for stuff. Oh, come on, you can't even see. Lord, like for instance, in the movie, Onyx has a Battle Cats lunchbox, and the art for that is right here. A little Battle Cats action. Come on. And then I'm also reviewing stuff from Leo, which is going to go in the Grand Grimoire. These are the roughs, though. Lycan, Witch, Viking. And then the Virgin was the one that I just took a picture of to explain to her how to do it. But that's my favorite part of the process. Oh, I love looking at art, reviewing art, and giving notes on that and getting that dialed in. All those little finesses. Look, Gremmy's unfazed. He's like, you just cut a vampire robe into a vampire cape into a robe, and I don't care. I don't know if Grammy. See, this is the other thing. Now, I don't want to sound like a sellout, but I think growing up in the 80s and 90s, you naturally think toyetically. That's the term that George Lucas, he might have coined it. I don't know. But I don't think it's a bad thing to think toyetically. Also, it's a natural thing for me. But you see a lot of movies that try to merchandise stuff. And hey, no offense to Mandy, but they're trying to sell me Nick Cage masks and Cheddar Goblin masks. I'm like, those weren't built to be toyetic objects. Maybe Cheddar Goblin to a degree. But I feel like in the Onyx movie, you got these Battle Cats toys that Nate designed. You got the lunchbox, and they're important within the context of the film. Cheddar Goblin is an aside, right? He's not integral to anything. I think, Gio, how you're spelling it, I think is how you spell it. But I'm talking toyetically, like the Battle Cats toys actually affect the plot. The lunchbox box affects the plot. You know what I mean? Somebody brought up wanting a plushie of Beefy Bad Boy. I'm saying, man, if we can position this movie right, ooh, and we get that little cult following, those things could actually become merch. And, maybe I'm thinking a little too big and broad because I've always felt like Onyx could be a more mainstream character. But why the fuck not think that way? I think I just naturally think toyetically. And I want them all. No spoilers, but yes, the Battle Cats toys are very integral to the plot, Oh, I can't block Remy Boy. I'm so sorry. Oh, so what else is popping? Beefy Bad Boy bobblehead. For sure. For sure. What else do you got? I mean, the characters, the ghouls. Oh, I'm gonna want a little t-shirt. No offense to Psycho Gorman again. But I see Psycho Gorman merch that I'm like, I don't really know that was a big takeaway quote from the film, but it's on a shirt. Whereas I think the Onyx movie is built for that stuff. He's a quotable motherfucker. Onyx 2, The Quest for More Money. I tell you, man, if we got to make a sequel, triple the creature. Triple the creatures. That's what I'll say. Triple the creature. We see a flashback of Onyx as a 6-year-old, and he's wearing those pajamas. Like I don't know what brand it was, but I had a pair of He-Man pajamas like that. Onyx wears underoos. Can you imagine buying Battle Cats underoos? Yeah, Hunter, you're talking about Marty's piece of art that was created during the Kickstarter. Yeah, that would be sweet. So anyway, thinking toyetically. Jay, I will say this. Onyx ends the film with a love interest. I will say that. I'm fine going gray, but some of these are like, okay, that's a little too much. If you're just going to be like straight and gray, I'm fine with this, but just to be like really straight, I don't really know what to do with you, dude. Anyway. Which thing blew your mind, Nate? Which one blew your mind? Buying Battle Cats underoos? Oh, an Onyx waifu pillow? Hey! I'll take it. Oh, wait, I forgot my cane. Of course. Let's see if my illustrator got that video. Okay, she hasn't said anything yet. I'm hoping she's still on board. I know I just black out when I'm texting, but I just need it to be. Yeah, the underoos. It would be great if Onyx was popular enough for me to make tiny wines. Darren, you're 36 and you ain't got no grays. You need to get on it, dude. Come on. You need to get on it. What are we doing? I'm going full. That's Demi, that's an interesting thing. Like, would you ever be able to get Onyx to the point where I will say this? Terrifier, right? Or Terrifier, is not a very big film. It's only known kind of in the horror community. And yet Art the Clown, there's a licensed mask for Art the Clown. And I've seen people dress up like Art at horror conventions. Yeah. No, Terrified is the foreign film, right? Hold on. Terrifier is Art the Clown. Yeah. Terrifier is Art the Clown. Terrified is the. Yeah. It's a good design. I'll give them that. I don't, like the movie, but it is what it is. Oh, I think coming up in the 80s, and not to project, but I think Nate, you're similar as far as like the nostalgia you have for toys, getting it in your hand. When I would watch Alf, I'd be like, God damn it, I need him in my hands. I need to touch him. I need to touch Alf. And sometimes when I'm on live streams, I'll sit with him like this, like as a joke, because I just make a joke about Alf or something. But then I find myself just wanting to hold him for the whole time. Yeah. Nate, I don't know if we've talked about this, but if we talked about the YouTube channel Toy Galaxy, all of their like history of He-Man, history of Ninja Turtles, history of Transformers. Man, I could watch those videos all goddamn day. All day. Getting it in your hand. I tell you what, man, I coveted. Hold on. Oh, I got something I wanted to show all of you. If I could party with John Carpenter or Joe Dante, hands down. Do you hear that magical skull? Hands down, dude. Me and Dante would fucking hit it off. I guarantee you. We'd leave that interaction. He'd be like, hey, do you want to be my son? And I'd be like, yeah, yes. And he'd be like, good, because I want to be your papa. And I'd be like, fuck, dude. And then we would hug each other. And I just go, dun, 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 dun. So check this out. This is a toy. My friend Andy had this, and I didn't have it. And I coveted the fuck out of this. I was like, so it's purple. It's got a giant eyeball. And if you squeeze it, the eyeball pops out. Right. That's the coolest thing of all fucking time. You know? And now I bought it as an adult. I need to have it. I need to have it in my hand. But let me show you what else I bought. I saw somebody on TikTok saying that these were expensive on eBay. So I was like, fuck, I'm never going to get it. But Food Fighters, I had so many Food Fighters. Okay. It's so many Food Fighters. Check this out. Tell me, without Googling it, I want you to tell me if you remember these being made. And I want to remember if you can, I want to see if you can remember the name of these products. Dude, Nate, we've talked about Nerfles and how much I fucking love Nerfles. But hold on. See if this looks familiar to y'all. What I'm talking about is one of these. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Do you know what this is? Do you know what we're talking about? Do you know what we're talking about? Anybody? Anybody? I mean, what am I doing down here? Look at this. I'm just recreating my childhood. That's all I am. That's all I'm doing. I'm down here. I've got Nightmare on Elm Street 3 playing on my TV VCR. I've got Alf over here, Ghostbusters toys, and then one of these. We got Hot Heads. No. We got pumpkin made of foam latex. Technically correct, but no. Foam pumpkin. No. Killer tomatoes. No. These were called O lanterns. Like Jack O lanterns, but the OH lanterns. And they were made by a special effects makeup guy, Todd Masters, who still works to this day. I even worked with him on a quote for a house mother of the movie, and then that never happened, but we had a few phone calls together. But anyway, I don't know where these were sold, but it's still, it even says on here, copyright 1987 Todd Masters. And I looked this up on eBay, and this is the one that I wanted. I remember all the different faces. Look them up on eBay, or just Google O Lanterns. But this one's name, I think, is Johnny O Lantern, or he might, yeah, I think he's Johnny O Lantern. Hold on. O Lantern family. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. You saw a documentary on O Lanterns? Oh my gosh. Johnny is the one that I wanted. And they had it on eBay for $40. You know? So here's what some of the others look like, right? You can kind of see them. Hold on. You know what I mean? Some of them are long. And All of them are cool. So I got myself a Johnny O'Lantern, and I'm stoked. Yeah, Amanda. So they came back at you say 2016, but they weren't these original ones. Look them up. They look weird. They look weird. These are the OGs. This is the OGs. You got that stamp, 1987. Come on, baby. I don't know. It's just so weird. I don't think I understood nostalgia until age 35. I think around 35, I started feeling like, I need VHSs. I need toys. I just started feeling it. And I guess that's like the generation before me. That's what they would do with vinyl records, and must listen to Led Zeppelin, must listen to, and that's me with all of this shit. And hopefully something kind of modern can be born out of the love for that. Because if you think about it, this is not a topic to get into with 2 minutes left on the stream, but Lucas and Spielberg were paying homage to the serials that they remember from the 50s and 60s. And yet they made something that worked for the audience in the 80s, right? Like, I wasn't brought up on what would have inspired Indiana Jones, but I sure as fuck loved Indiana Jones. But I didn't grow up on those serials they used to see in the movies before movies would play, So we're trying to kind of get that 80s vibe in the Onyx movie, but not in a way that alienates younger people, but in a way that still works for a modern audience. Anyway, the Arby's video, the Arby's guy talking about buying Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah, I should do something with that. That's too good to pass up. I should do something with that. I haven't looked at any news videos about it, but I need to. Yeah, Labor Day weekend, everybody. Be safe. I don't know what else to say. Oh yeah, Ken, the cane. Look at that. I look like some kind of like pumpkin king, with Grammy Boy in the background, who's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. What I was going to talk about this week was the fact that I watched Dressed to Kill, the De Palma movie, and I'd never seen it. And then I also I rewatched Final Chapter, Friday the 13th, but it's all good. We don't have to talk about all that. All right. Everybody stay safe. Thanks for joining me. Well, I'll go 3 more minutes. I have a little thing. I like getting right to an hour. And since I had to restart the stream, we'll go 3 more minutes. Hopefully we'll know more next week. We did lock in. All of the other cast members are locked in. Shelly, Mr. Duke, Farah, Mac, Angelique. We got those. Now we're just locking down Bartok. And then we're going to start casting for Massachusetts locals to play other characters, like people at the Meat Hut, especially. Hopefully that'll all start crank yanking next week. Gotta get that Bartok, baby. Well, I definitely didn't recommend As Above, So Below because I've never seen it. So, Greg, the reason I can't announce the ones we've locked down yet is because they're locked down in kind of an informal way. We have deal memos with them, which basically state what they've agreed to, and we have also mutually agreed to that. But there's no contracts, and I don't know. It's just a little too. If you think about it, a lot of times when you read that cast is announced, dude, it's like weeks away from when they start shooting. I mean, we all just read about the cast, the full cast that was announced for the Wednesday Addams show. And a week later, those actors are headed to Romania. A lot of times you wait till the print is dry on those agreements before you make the announcements. That's all I'll say. So I just got to wait a little bit longer. But once we're in Massachusetts filming, we better have announced them because I want the people to be able to be on social media. I hope, if they're cool with it. Well, I can't drop a hint about Bartok because we don't have Bartok cast yet. He's the one that we don't have cast. All right, everybody. Have a safe weekend. Party hard if that's your flow, but party hard safely. And I'll see everybody next week. Bye, Grammy Boy. Say bye.